morning, Facebook. Hello. Let's see, is my network? All right, I'm here. Sorry about that. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It is Friday morning, September 11th. First of all, a moment of silence and a prayer for all the victims from 9/11. It is 9/11 today, the anniversary, I guess the 19th anniversary of that. So just a moment of silence and prayer. All right, so I had a question to ask everybody this morning. Good morning, Neil. Hello, Jason. Hello, Susan. Got a bunch of people on. More and more joining. So it is Friday morning. Hi, Anna. Hello, thanks for joining. Mary's on. Hi, Mary. Yes, never forget. Hashtag live, never forget. Just drop a comment of, if you're watching this live, just drop a comment, hashtag live. And I'm just going to go on my computer here so I can see more comments coming in. All right, so quick question. As we approach winter, cooler weather, the fall, how do you feel about sitting inside of a restaurant to eat? Are you going to still, you can do takeout? Are you going to bundle up and sit outside as long as you possibly can? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? What are your plans on things like that? For us, we have not done any indoor seating, zero indoor seating. So, because most people we're finding don't want to sit indoors. A lot of people are uncomfortable even walking into the restaurant to get to the back garden. So what are your plans if you're going out? Are you excited about going back in to eat at a restaurant inside the building? New York City starts September 30th and go 25% occupancy. Upstate New York, we've been able to sit inside at 50% occupancy with dividers and things like that. So we've been able to do socially distance. However, we have not done that. What are your thoughts? Brian is saying happy to eat inside. Excellent. So what are your thoughts? Just drop a comment. Let us know what your thoughts are on sitting inside. Mary's saying no, we would sit indoors. You would sit indoors. Okay, that's good. So thank you. Just drop some comments, folks. Let us know what your thoughts are. Would you eat inside, or are you still stuck on eating outside? We find that most guests do not want to eat inside at all. They don't even want to walk in the building. They want to walk around to the side, into the garden, or sit out in the street, out on the sidewalk. That's what we're finding with most people. But at some point, folks, it's going to get colder. So it's going to get colder, and it's going to be uncomfortable sitting outside. Now, I know in some European countries, they ride it out just on a normal basis without COVID. They ride it out, and you have heaters out there, and they bundle up, and they sit outside. So Neil is saying, I have no issues as long as it's spaced out. That's good to know. Hi, Kimberly. Good morning. I love cool evenings by the fire. Yep, or the heat source, of course. So we have a nice fire pit outside. We have a really nice fire pit outside. Which is awesome. The only disadvantage is sometimes it can get smoky because it is real wood fired, so it can get smoky. It does produce a nice amount of heat though. And we do have space heaters. We have 3 space heaters that produce a lot of heat, so that's also a good thing. But we are slowly getting our dining room ready for inside, so we can start inside dining, and of course we're still going to have our outside dining available. Anna says, I would eat inside. Okay, that's good to know. All right, so we got a lot of really good positive comments about people eating inside and trusting and eating inside. So that's really good. So appreciate that. Thomas, I'll stay with the takeout for now. Still haven't ate inside yet. Okay. Jamie and I have not eaten inside too. We've gone to several restaurants and we have not eaten inside. We've eaten outside. A lot of restaurants are not offering in-store dining, even though they're legally allowed to. They're not doing indoor dining yet. And that would be us. Susan's saying would like to remain outside for as long as possible, but would eat inside. So Susan, I'm with you on that too. I would love to stay outside as long as possible. I love eating outside. I especially a lot of restaurants do have beautiful outdoor spaces, so I would love to ride it out. And I think our garden is a nice space, and we're going to plan on riding it out as long as possible outside. And I guess at certain points offer outside, inside, a combination, whatever you're comfortable with. Neil says a few extra drinks will help. Yes, a few extra drinks will help. Sitting outside, that's a good point, Neil. Good for alcohol sales. Cold weather dining, good for alcohol sales. That's a good, as long as you're drinking safe, responsibly drinking. So yeah. All right, awesome. That was a very, very good help, folks. Thanks for engaging with that. We really appreciate it. I posted yesterday something on our Facebook about fast food wrappers being toxic. So this goes along with takeout. How are you saying? We would eat inside, nicely spaced at the Mill House. Okay, good. So that's good to know, Heidi. You know, I think as long as tables are spaced out properly, and people, and you know, I've been to a couple restaurants. I'm not eating inside, but I've been to a couple restaurants where they're obviously not properly spacing inside, according to the guidelines. They're not properly spacing, and people are in there and people are eating, and some of these restaurants are packed that I've seen. So some people could care less. I guess some restaurant owners could care less about the regulations, whether you believe in the regulations or not, where I have to enforce them. You walk in without a mask, I have to ask you to put a mask on. It's the law, so it's not me. All right, so speaking of takeout food, a lot of people are on takeout, and we're going to ride takeout as long as possible too. We do a ton of takeout. It's amazing how much takeout we do because of COVID. Even though we can see people outside, people are still doing an immense amount of takeout. So our takeout business has been fantastic, and that's really one of the driving forces of the restaurant right now is all of the takeout that we do. Well, so if you come into the restaurant and you see like a full back patio, or you see like 6-7 tables, doesn't look that busy, there's twice as many takeouts as there is people sitting in the restaurant. Like, we have to limit takeouts at some points, like how you turn people away at the door and say, I don't have any reservations. We actually have to do that on lots of occasions with takeout orders, where we're not taking takeout orders for the next hour and a half because the kitchen gets so busy. So it's hard to judge a restaurant if you're sitting at a restaurant right now and it doesn't look busy. It's hard to judge because some people say, oh my gosh, there's only 4 tables there. What's taking my food so long? A lot of these kitchens are rocking and rolling with 10, 15, 20, 30 orders. And some restaurants have a policy of no takeout after 6 p.m., things like that. We just play it by ear and see when it gets busy, then we slow it down. So if we have to turn you away when you walk up to the door, you might see an empty table or so. There could be several different factors for that. We actually turn away 30, 40, 50, 60 people a night on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, because we just don't have enough tables. We have 11 tables in back. We have 2 tables plus another 5 or 6 out front, which is more tables than we have in the dining room at a given time, plus all the takeout we're doing. So we're actually serving more people than we normally do. So now let's talk about takeout. I posted an article yesterday on our timeline here on the Aroma Time page, how Burger King, McDonald's, fast food takeout wrappers are toxic. They contain toxic ingredients. Well, it's just natural. That's what happens. And it's not only with Burger King and McDonald's and the big guys. This stuff happens across the board with takeout containers. A lot of these takeout containers need glues. They need sealers. They need, they need something in them. Plastic containers, those plastic, like when you go to the Chinese restaurant, you get those plastic soup containers. Those probably, you put hot wonton soup in there, or a hot soup in there, you're probably going to leach something out of the plastic, is what I'm assuming. That's just logic of what happens. So a lot of to-go containers are not safe, whether you're in the fast food industry or a regular restaurant. So if you could take your, so I always used to take my own to-go containers. I always have to have some ready, and certain people like that. The only issue now is bringing containers into a restaurant. So if you're sitting at a table, and you want takeoff, and a lot of people still do this. They have their own to-go containers in their purse, in their car. They just bring it to the table and go with it. I know a lot of restaurants that are nervous right now, or were nervous in the height of the pandemic, about bringing other people's to-go containers in, taking them into their kitchen, and then putting food in them because you don't know where the containers were, right? So at the height of this, we didn't know much, and we had a guest that really, really insisted, and we'd have to run it through the dish machine, sanitize before we would actually pack in their to-go containers. At one point, and still a couple of vendors we have won't even take back our bottle returns because they don't want boxes going back to the warehouse. And that was, one company would not accept anything back. You could barely even return anything from them. If it got off the truck, you couldn't even return the product. They would just rather give you credit, and saying, just keep the product. We'll give you credit because we don't want product coming back in once it's touched hands again. But back to the to-go containers. Just be wary of to-go containers. One of the number one culprits out there are drinking straws, those paper drinking straws. When you stick those into your drink and they start dissolving, those are put together by glues. Those are put together with chemicals. So those glues, chemicals are actually getting into your drink. But I would totally skip a paper straw if you go out to eat. No paper straws whatsoever in your food. Jamie and I do not. As soon as they put it in, we ask, no straws, please. But as soon if we don't catch them and they drop that paper straw in, because they just sometimes will just do it, the first thing we do is take it out and get it out of the glass. We are fortunate enough to have Redene, R-E-E-D-E-N, Redene straws. It is the only straw of its kind that has no MOAs, no MPC3Ds. It's totally a clean straw. None of those glues, things like that you would normally find in all the other commercially produced straws. It's a German straw, very strict regulations, very pricey straw, by the way, extremely pricey. We ran into that company. I ran into them last September. It was actually September this time last year. I was in Florida speaking at a restaurant show about marketing. I was helping other restaurateurs market, and I was there, and I met the owner of Redene, immediately fell in love with the product, and I was one of the very first customers. We actually waited another 6 to 8 weeks. He wasn't even selling the product yet. He had just launched it and wasn't even taking orders yet. So we were one of the very, very first customers of his to get online and get these products in. So these straws are amazing straws. We've actually done a little bit of work for the company. We've actually done like a little dual sponsorship where when I've gone to other shows, he would sponsor some of my speeches, and we would get some products into other restaurateurs' hands and help them with getting green straws, safe straws. So, all right, folks, that is it. Just a quick question again, if you're tuning in now. Are you comfortable going in to eat at a restaurant, inside yet versus outdoors? What are you going to do when it gets cold out? Will you start going inside? Will you just do takeout only? Will you switch back to takeout? A lot of people are still doing takeout and won't even sit outside. So what comfort level are you at with going into a restaurant to eat? That's the question that we needed help with. It seems like a lot of people, as long as precautions are being taken, a lot of people don't have a problem with, looks like, going in right now. I agree with some of the answers of riding out the weather as long as we possibly can, ride out the fall, and sit outside until we absolutely have to go inside. All right, folks, I'm going to go for my run now. I've got a busy morning again. Got a bunch of phone calls lined up this morning. We'll be doing our lobster bakes tonight on the front, starting at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock lobster bakes, oysters, our lobster rolls, peel and eat shrimp, and Brenda's saying already have sat indoors. Okay, that's awesome. A lot of restaurants aren't doing indoors yet. Even though they're legally allowed to, they're not doing it. I think a lot of restaurant owners figured out that, hey, people are still eating food. I don't have to employ wait staff. I can run on a limited staff, and I can make more money than I ever have before if I just lay off 3/4 of my staff, put one person there, and to take people's money and have 2 cooks in the kitchen, and offer 0 seating whatsoever. So a lot of restaurants I still know are still doing 0 seating, not even outdoor seating. You want to sit down at that table, you go help yourself, take your food, sit down there, clean it up yourself. We'll send somebody out to sanitize it, and not full service. So a lot of restaurants realize that if they lay off 3/4 of their staff, that they can actually make money. I've heard this from numerous restaurants. So it's unfortunate that they're laying off staff because to do that, and then we're losing jobs. But a lot of restaurateurs, I think, got a little greedy with that. I know they got greedy with that because I've spoken to a lot of them, and they're loving the finances right now. A lot of restaurants with the COVID. We, in the very, very beginning, laid off the first week the majority of our staff. We kept 1 or 2. Well, actually, it was Jamie and Justin and Jamie on the floor, and then I had 2 people in the kitchen. 2 out of my 4 people in the kitchen stayed on. And then the following week, we just had to keep bringing more people in because we were so busy with takeouts that we needed. And we easily back at 50% within a matter of 2-3 weeks with our staff. And then within a month or so, within 6 weeks, the majority of our staff had come back because we were literally so busy with takeouts. And of course, once we started doing outdoor dining, we actually had to hire more people so we could actually keep up with takeouts and the outdoors. So that was really good. And we were able to make money on top of it. And we were able to lower our prices, which is really good. So because of COVID, we readjusted our menu. We made our entrees a la carte. So instead of the salmon being $28, it's $15.99. You order a side of broccoli for $5.99. You're way ahead of the game. Same salmon, same quality, same ingredients all across the board. One thing we did upgrade on a few things. We actually upgraded our wings to certified organic wings are what we serve now. Before it used to be free range, hormone free, antibiotic free, vegetarian fed, those kind of specs. But now it's actually certified organic, so it's the next level on our wings. Our chicken breast now is certified organic, and these are from a local Hudson Valley farm. So we did upgrade that, and there were several other things that we did upgrade as far as a nicer product. What I feel, better product, better quality product. Just small improvements here and there, and we did make some investments in a frozen drink machine, so we now serve frozen pina coladas. We were able to buy some new kitchen equipment throughout all this, which is fantastic. We bought a huge mixer for the staff. They really love that. So we were able to do some nice upgrades throughout this whole thing. But yeah, so if you're just tuning in, I see Giovanna on. But if you're good morning. If you're just tuning in, are you ready? The question is, are you ready to go out and sit inside of a restaurant to eat? Are you comfortable enough to do that yet? Because it's going to start getting colder out. This last weekend it was cold out and we had to turn on the heaters and back, and it was a little chilly. Are you ready to sit inside a restaurant yet? Yes or no? Are you going to ride out patio dining as long as you possibly can, which is our plan? As long as it's not snowing or raining out there, if you want to go sit outside, you can sit outside basically. We're going to have the garden and tent, everything set up. So that's the story with that. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. Have an amazing day, and Jamie will be live later. We're in the process now of taking all of Jamie's Facebook Lives, numbering them and labeling them, and then we'll catalog them on the website, so you can actually go to a page where you can say, okay, margarita, pina colada, whatever it is, Negroni, this drink, that drink, and there'll be a link back to Facebook with the video in the description of the number in the description. So we're in the process of doing that. I had my assistant do that for a good portion of yesterday, go catalog all those and watch them and label them all. So that will be up very, very soon. People keep asking, well, what was that drink you did? What was that? What was that? So hopefully that'll help everybody as a resource. If you always, and like always, if you have any drink suggestions, message Jamie, drop a comment. She's always happy for suggestions. She's done 117 happy hour lives. So at some point, she's probably going to run out of drinks and ideas. And at some point, she'll make a drink again just because it's a good drink. And if you didn't get to see it 2 months ago, maybe you'll catch it today. So that's the story, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. We're open at 5 o'clock today. 5 o'clock we open. Talk to you later.